Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, hi, my name is Jada. In today's conversation, we're going to be focusing on documents that you would need to purchase a home in Jamaica. If you're interested in that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and also share it with a friend. So before we even get started, please allow me a brief moment to introduce myself. My name is Jada. I have a passion for investing in real estate. 3 years old at the time, and since then I've documented my journey from an Airbnb host to a landlady. So if you're interested in that, you can actually check out the entire playlist and see all of my videos by just going to the playlist section on my YouTube channel and watching the full catalog there. So let's get started with today's video. So when purchasing a home, there are a lot of documents that you need to get in place so that when you're actually ready to apply for your pre-approval letter, which is the letter that you will use with your realtor to actually look for houses within your budget, you will have an easier process. So before we even get to pre-approval stage or even looking for an apartment, let's take a couple step backs and let's just think of our mindset when we're actually thinking about purchasing a home. So there's certain things that you want to start to get together and certain practices that you want put in place so that your documentation can have the best chance possible of having a great mortgage plan. So first thing that you want to do is do a self-assessment of your finances. So you want to look at the debts that you have out, the loans that you have, your incoming, your expenses, everything pertaining to money. You want to take a deep dive into that to find out what is happening with your accounts. If you have multiple accounts, then you will need to assess multiple accounts. So we actually want to focus on our accounts because the main goal is to reduce our debt so that we can actually save as much money as we possibly can to be able to afford our deposit for a house and our closing costs, which will include stamp duty, lawyer fees, and so forth. So once you do a self-assessment, you're also going to want to start to look at things like your credit. So you can actually monitor your credit with the Experian app, and this won't actually damage your credit report or your credit score. If you do try to extract a credit report, that's when it may alter your credit score. In the instances that you're just going to look at your credit score just to see what number you are, then that will not have any effect at all. So I do encourage everyone to actually have an idea as to what your finances look like, what your reality is. If it's that you're planning to take out a loan in the future, if you're planning to buy a car, if you're planning to do any big purchase that may actually alter how much you can afford on your mortgage, this is something that you need to assess and to really tally up if this is the right time that you need to be thinking about purchasing a home. So you want to start to get your bank statements in order. So if you have any miscellaneous expenses, so anything we normally buy, so I'm gonna just break it down for you a little better. So say you look at your bank statement now and you realize you're ratted, you have certain money where are coming in from certain people when you really have a title or just some miscellaneous activities happening in your account. You want to start to streamline those things and really be careful as to what money you're spending and what money is coming in your account. Because when you go to the bank, they're literally going to sit down with your bank statement, go for it line for line, anything that they don't understand, anything that may look dodgy, anything that looks inconsistent, they're going to highlight it and they're going to ask you to explain what that incoming is or what that outgoing is, and you need to have a strong answer, because this will have a direct impact on how much money the bank can lend you, if any at all. Also, when thinking about finances, you also want to find out if there's any area within your life for you to make money, because when purchasing a home, anything can happen at any given point in time. So you want to make sure that you want to make sure that you are always on the safe side. If you can have some extra cash stashed somewhere, honestly, you're going to be in the best situation. I did a video recently explaining my recent home buying process and what happened with our offer. If you can make extra money and you're going to be able to account for that money and prove that that money is legitimate and legal, go ahead, because the more the merrier. The more money you can save, the better. The least money you can spend, the better, because it means that the bank is going to be able to lend you more money should all of your identification, all of your financial and all of your identification checks actually pass their benchmarks. And whilst you're doing your own self-assessment, a few questions that you want to ponder around your mind are questions like, Is now the right time for you to buy a home? Are you planning to go into further education? Are you planning to make a big purchase? Are you planning to have a dependent in the future? Do you have any family member planning to move into your home that may potentially depend on you and actually take a portion of your current income? And also, guys, remember, in theory, the younger you are when you apply for a mortgage, the longer years you will have to pay that off. So it means that you have the possibility to actually pay less than someone who is a bit more old and potentially have a shorter lifespan and may actually have to pay more money because they have a shorter lifespan to pay back that full mortgage. Okay, so once you've gotten your finances in order, a few documentation that you will need to prove that your finances are in order: 3 to 6 months pay slips, or 3 to 6 months pay slips, 3 to 6 months bank statements. If you do a tax return in your tax return form, if you're in the UK, then that would be a P60. Your P60, which confirms that you pay tax for that financial year. You will also have to provide a credit report, but that is not something that you would do independent, like on your own accord. It will be a conversation with the mortgage broker or with a reputable bank, and they will inform you when is the right time for you to actually provide that credit report. But it is a document that you will need at some point. You will also need to provide personal identification documents, which may fall in the category of passport, birth paper, indefinite leave to remain, proof of address, proof of employment, and if you are self-employed, then you will need to showcase your accounting, I believe, for a year, if not 2. It just depends on the mortgage and the bank that is lending the amount. Okay, so for the video's sake, let's just say that we've provided all of the necessary documents, and please don't take this list exact. Different banks will ask for different things, but this is just a general idea as to what documents they will ask for everyone. And now we have looked for the property, we find the property, we have a realtor, we have a lawyer, we have the whole team. See a property we like, we'll get the pre-approval letter for say $40 million the bank can lend with. We have our 10% of the 40 million saved. And we'll also have the closing costs, which includes stamp duty, lawyer fee, taxes, etc. Now would be the time that we need to make an offer on the property. In order to make an offer on the property, we will need to complete the offer form, and that will be in conjunction with the lawyer. So they will advise you upon what area for complete, what area for complete. If you understand something, like, honestly, talk up for yourself. Don't feel like, say, because you're new to home buying, you can't ask questions. Like, ask as much question. Even if you buy a house already and your first time in a long time and you forget certain things, ask as much question, because at the end of the day, this is your mortgage, this is your house, this is your reality, this is your investment. You're going to have to complete a form. Can be quite lengthy, detailed, and wordy. You will need to satisfy the bank's KYC, which basically means the know your customer. So the bank will provide you with a checklist of documents that they need. Sometimes it will need to be signed by a JP or a person of notary. I don't know if it's pronounced a notarizer, but each lender will let you know what their checklist is like. Each lender will let you know their specifications and their checklist. So once you've signed the offer and you're comfortable and your lawyer's comfortable, you then give that to your realtor, and your realtor or your lawyer will then pass that on to the vendor's attorney, will then pass it on to the vendor's attorney or the vendor themselves, if they might deal with them thing, Again, for the video's sake, let's just say that we've sent for an offer and the whole process is ticking along. The next step will be the sales agreement. And within that step, that is where a lot of negotiation goes on. And this is where it's imperative for you to have a lawyer, a licensed lawyer, a licensed, reliable lawyer. So within this process, the sales agreement will be sent to your lawyer for them to review the entire document. And within this entire process, there's a few documentations that will need to be produced. And this is sometimes usually produced through the buyer, so like us people who try to buy the property, or it's produced through the lawyers. If you have a lawyer who also work with surveyors and valuators, they will be able to say, okay, within the closing cost, this percentage is covered through the valuator fee, or this percentage is a result of the surveyor fee. If you don't have a lawyer in this process and you are the sole individual doing everything, you will need to source a valuator and a surveyor. And make sure say una check so the people are real and legitimate. We've made the offer and we're within that negotiation period for the sales agreement. By the way, it's usually within 60 to 90 days. The bank will let you know and your lawyer will know for sure. If it's 60 or 90 days, that an agreement must be made as to what the purchase price would be and all of the final details of that, the terms and conditions. So once the sale agreement has been confirmed and approved by both parties, so the buyer and the seller, the next step is that the documents will then be sent back to the bank, and then the bank will then have the final say in saying, okay, yes, we can now release the mortgage and X, Y, and Z. So once we submit the documents and the loan is approved, we're now entering the final stages. And the next stage would be the commitment letter, which would be provided via the bank, which basically just explains your mortgage terms and agreement, how much money you're paying monthly, what your interest rate what your interest rate is. And disclaimer, let me just say this. Whilst we're within this home buying process, as we enter the mid to final stage from the sales agreement to the commitment letter, all of this is happening all at once, so it's simultaneous. There's a lot of parties involved, there's a lot of communications, there's a lot of documents. So make sure that you are scanning every single thing that comes into your inbox and you have a copy of everything. Whether it works out or it doesn't work out, you need to make sure that you have a systemized approach to the documentation of this entire process, because it's legal, it's lengthy. Okay, so let's run it on in. The loan has been approved. The final stages include a commitment letter, an undertaking letter, which is provided by the bank. They will essentially instruct a panel of attorneys to write up this letter, which again just details everything that a commitment letter kind of does. I don't really know the exact differences between the two, but those are just some of the documents that will be produced within the final stages of agreeing your mortgage plan. So finally, once all documents have been signed, so the undertaking letter, commitment letter, the closing costs are paid. This is where the closing cost is paid. This is where all the money is paid. So you're going to be paying your lawyer fee, your stamp duty fee, because obviously they're conducting a service, they're doing that. And at times, some lawyers actually take a deposit before they even get any work started. So this is why I say you guys need to have the liquid cash up front when you're ready to purchase a home. You can't be quiet, airy-fairy about it. You have to have your money about it. So within the final stage, once all parties sign documents and it's all been approved, the bank now issues out the mortgage to the seller, and you are now a new homeowner. And at that point in time, if it's an older build apartment, then you would have access to the title for the land or for the property. But if it's a new build, they don't necessarily have the title ready and waiting for you. It may actually take 6 months or so, but this is where you keep in contact with your lawyer and they'll actually inform you as to how and when you can go about obtaining the necessary documentation. So if you guys found this video useful, please don't forget to leave a like. And if you guys enjoyed this video and you'd like to see similar videos, leave it in the comment section below. If you know someone who's currently thinking of purchasing a home, send them this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.